Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Digimon Digital Monsters Season 1, Episode 22. This will be about Episode 21 of Season 1. Now, like I said, today is my birthday and stuff, so this is the second video of 4 or 5 of them that I'm going to do today. And now I'll just get into the actual storyline of the episode. Now, but also before I do, I want to show you guys my Piedmon impression. Please allow me to introduce my fellow actors in this comedic comedy of errors. Puppetmon, Machinedramon, Metal Seedramon, and myself, Piedmon. We like to start off by giving audience volunteers. Who would like to be the first to die? Turn 7 is getting on my nerves. You'll be the first to go. The plot thickens. I was really hoping that these little ones would put on a more interesting show, but really, come on, it's too tiresome. Can we just get on with something a little less tedious? There's no escape from Machinedramon. He's designed for total annihilation. It's only a matter of time before he catches them, and then the game is over. Oh well, little ones, that's my Piedmon impression, guys. Now, if you guys want, you can leave a comment in the comment box, like telling me what you thought of it and stuff. And that'll be my final Dark Master Digimon impression until I do the character bios for them and stuff. Okay, I just thought I'd do that, get that out of the way first. Now, this is History of Digimon Digital Monsters Season 1, Episode 22. This is about Episode 21 of Season 1. Now, this episode is kind of appropriately titled Home Away from Home. And it starts off with Ty's character making a small narration. He's like, when we defeated Edamon, something strange happened. And then what happens is he thinks that they're back home in his world and stuff. And he's thinking that it couldn't be real. And then Goramon's saying that it is real too, that it feels real to him. And then later on, when the kid gets scared away, they run toward, they try to get out of the way and stuff, and not get into any trouble. And then what happens is after that, is Ty recognizes the toy factory and city hall and stuff, and then he goes back to where his apartment is, and then what happens is, well, they go to where his apartment room is and stuff, and then what happens is after that, Ty's saying that it all looks so real to Koromon and that this must be his home, and then Koromon is saying that for his sake he hopes so, but what makes him think he's not imagining it in a digital world and stuff, and then Ty says that, he's saying that I guess they'll find out until he goes to his house, and then he's excited, he's like ecstatic. He's like, did you and I just say Koromon? Until we go to my house, and then he said that he's home and stuff, and then in the next scene he's saying the same things, but he's saying he can't wait to see his family, and when they get a look at Koromon, they'll know he's telling the truth about the digital world and stuff, and then he says that then they could try to hook up with the others and see if they got home too. And then Koromon says that he hopes he's right, and then what happens is, after that, what happens is Ty says he's glad he has some of his camp money left, because the subway's a lot nicer than walking home, and then what happens is, after that, he goes to the place where his house is, and then he's telling him that's where he lives, and then Koromon makes a bit of a joke about that. He's like, all those rooms your family's big, and then Ty is telling Koromon that it's an apartment building, like lots of people live there and stuff, and like that, and what happens is after that, they go inside, and they see that their shoes, that Ty sees that his parents' shoes are still there, and he wonders if his mom and dad are at home as well, and stuff, and then he says that no one's there, and where could they have gone? And then Koromon makes a little remark about that. He thinks that they might have gone to the digital world as well. And then Ty says that that's not funny. And then Ty opens a soda and he starts drinking it. And Gormon says that he's thirsty, and then Ty makes a little cunning remark where he says that it was the last one he should have had some before he finished drinking, and then Gormon kind of gets angry with Ty, and he says that he can't believe he'd be so stingy and stuff, and then what happens is he tells him that he was just kidding, that he left him half of it and stuff, and then what happens after that is, Cormon starts drinking the other half of the drink that's left, and then Ty's wondering where his family was and how long they've been gone, and then when he closes the fridge door, he recognizes that the day is August 1st, the same day that he landed in Digital World. Now, I'll just explain that. If you guys are wondering why it was August 1st in the episode, I'll just explain why. Because in this first series, time flows differently in a digital world than it does in the human world. What I mean by flows differently is, what seems like months in the digital world is equal to 1 minute in real world time. That's only in this first season, and the same thing goes when they're back in the digital world also. Ty's saying that this is the day the Digivices dropped into their hands and stuff, and the whole crazy adventure began, and then he's also remembering that this was all that the 1st of August in the series is also the day his parents were planning to visit his grandmother, who lived just like outside of the city and stuff. And then what happens is he's wondering if they took his little sister Kari with them, and that's why no one's home. And then he says that he should kick back and wait for them to come home, and then speak, and then what happens is Cormon's telling them, speaking of time, it's time to eat and stuff like that. And then Ty's telling him to hold the Digihorses and stuff because he's just remembering that he's reliving a day he's already lived. And then Cormon's apologizing, and then Ty's apologizing because he didn't mean to freak out. But the same hour, minute, and second have occurred, except he's home this time and he's wondering if he has a twin in a parallel world and stuff. And then what happens is after that, then there's a yawning noise from where they are, and then Cormon's wondering what it is, and then Cormon's saying that he hears that, and then Ty looks over, like a girl's voice said that he hi to him, and then he looks over and then he sees his sister. Now I'll just explain a bit who she is. Her name is Kari. In this series, if you guys remember what I said about Ty having a little sister when I did Ty's character bio video, this is what I meant of him having a little sister and stuff. And she's also one of the Digidats, and she's the 8th member of the group, and technically she'll be the main focus of the third arc, which goes to episode 39. I thought I'd get that out of the way first. And her crest is called the Crest of Light and stuff, and it's another special crest, like I said, because if you remember, I stated that TK's crest was one of 2 special crests. Her crest is also called the Crest of Light, so that's the second special crest I mentioned when I said there were 2 of them. And then what happens is after that, like I said, she'll be the main focus of the third arc with the third major villain, and I'll just explain who her partner is very quickly. Her partner's Digimon's name is Gatomon, which is basically a cat Digimon, but she won't show up until the third arc. I just thought I'd get that out of the way. And then Ty is saying that Kari's home and that their mom and dad left her home all alone, and she says that she's a big girl, and she says hi to Cormon and stuff, and then Ty's wondering how she knows Cormon's name, and what happens is Cormon makes a bit of a joke about that. He's like, maybe she knows my name because your sister's a lot smarter than you, but I'll just explain how she knows that. It's kind of connected with the movie, guys, but I'll just explain a bit about it. Basically, there was another Cormon that showed up in the movie portion. That's just what I wanted to explain. I'll explain more when I get to episode 29 of season 1. I'll explain more about that. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then Ty's telling Cormon to be quiet, and then he's asking Kari how he knew that she was Ty's asking Kari how she knew his name was Cormon, and then she's saying that she just knew it. it's like he's met him before. That's because they're not. That's why she's not afraid. But that's also connected with the movie because they met a different version of him before. I just thought I'd get that out of the way also. And Ty's saying that that's impossible. That because this is the first time he's been out of digital world, and Kari's wondering if that's where they met, and then Ty's saying that she has that she hasn't been to digital world, or has she? And then what happens is she says she thinks so that's near the camp, and then what happens is Ty's thinking to himself that maybe Kari has been to digital world because she does have the camp whistle on and stuff, and he makes a little bit of funny thinking suggestions, like he thinks that maybe Kari goes to his camp in the future and gets sucked in like he was, or or um or but she comes home before he does, or what happens is after that, or the fact that what is it, or the fact that, or that he's confused because he doesn't, the whole jumping between time dimension thing and this whole thing is on a whack, and then he makes little jokes in his thinking. He's like, there or when, or he's or there or something. And then he thinks that Kari and him have a fever and they're both delirious. And then he puts his hand to both his and Kari's face. And then she's asking him why he thinks he has a fever. And she says that she's not sick and she's been to the digital world and stuff. But at least she thinks he has. Because where else could he find a Cormon? And then he makes a little joke about that, saying the toy store. And then what happens is after that, is she says, "Oh please," and then what happens is Ty says that she does know, and he better call everyone else's home to see if they got home too. But to be frank, guys, the others didn't actually get pulled through the rift. He was the only one who did, and then what happens is Ty makes them a nice healthy breakfast, and then later on, after what happens is when they're on the couch, when Ty's on the couch, he sees the Digimon popping up on the TV screen, and then he's like, "What is Digimon doing here? Can somebody please tell me what's going on here? The Digimon are clearly on the TV screen, but the reporter hasn't mentioned them." And then Kari says that finally someone else can see them, and then Ty's saying that she could see the monsters too, and for a long time now, and she's saying that their mom and dad didn't believe her because they think she just watched too many scary movies. Now, the reason why I think only Ty and Kari can see them at this point is because the Digimon haven't actually crossed between dimensions and stuff. Like, not fully. They just pass between the two stuff. And that's why only Ty and Kari can see them. That's my personal opinion, guys. And then, what happens is, they get a message from Izzy where he says they want them to stay home, and then what happens is Ty realizes that the digital world, that while they're stuck at home, his friends are in trouble, and then what happens is he can't make the Digivice work and stuff, and then Kari's telling him to relax, eat some watermelon and stuff like that, and then Ty's thinking that maybe Kari's right, he just needs to relax and chill out. Maybe an idea of what to do will come to him and stuff like that. And then what happens is the telephone rings, and then his mom is talking to Kari on the phone, and then Ty goes to talk to her, and then his mom doesn't realize that he's the one talking right now, and then he hangs up, and then he realizes that Earth is in much trouble with the digital world because the digital world problems are slipping into the human world and making it both problems and stuff, world's problems, and then he says that there's nothing they can do until he can find out a way to make the Digivice work and transport them back to the digital world to fight the evil Digimon. And then he starts complaining that he said his friends are in trouble because he can't make his piece of techno junk work, and he can't do a thing about it. And then what happens is after that, he sees a noise, and then he finds out, he wonders if it's Digimon again, and it turns out to be Tyrannomon, and Tyrannomon blasts, uses fire breath to blow the bridge. And then what happens is after that, Tai and Koromon run to where Tyrannomon is, and then he realizes he disappears. And then then they see Dromojimon showing up, and then what happens is Dromojimon disappears as well. And then what happens is on the news, the newsman is saying that apparently some of their viewers have called into their network saying that they've seen monsters on the television screen. And then what happens is after that, he's saying that authorities believe this is just a bunch of hysteria among a few individuals. If they see these monsters, they should seek medical help immediately and stuff. And then Ty's saying that the Digimon are drifting back and forth through the dimensional rift, and they have to go back to fight them. And then Koromon is saying that even if he could fight, he couldn't be of any help because he can't digivolve, because in spite of all he's eaten, he can't digivolve and stuff, so he's just getting in the way and stuff. And then Ty's telling them that he needs them and they can't give up now. And then Kari runs to where they are. And then what happens is after that, Ty's telling her that he told her not to leave home, that he can't come with them because it's too dangerous. And then Koromon sees an image of Ogremon showing up, and then Ty realizes that he's just standing there waiting for the light to change. And then what happens is he wonders if they wait, he'll disappear like the others. And then what happens is after that, Kai wondering where Koromon is, and Kari is telling him that he's up there, that he's trying to fight Ogremon single-handed, and then Ty's asking him to digivolve, and he tells him that he can't do it without the Digivice. And then what happens is after that, says that he says that he doesn't know what's wrong, but the Digivice isn't working, and that he has to digivolve without it. And then Koromon says that he can't, and then Kari's telling him that he can do it, and then the image of Pokemon's club whacks the side of the building, and then Ty's telling Koromon to digivolve, and then the Digivice glows, and then it goes to the scene where they're digivolving, and then it goes back out to it, and then Ty's saying that the dimensional rift is opening up like a mega vacuum cleaner and stuff, and he's telling Koromon to help, and then Koromon digivolves to Agumon, and then Ty is telling Agumon to hurry, and then he uses his Pepper Breath attack to knock the image of Agumon into the dimensional rift, and then what happens is later on Agumon gets sucked in, and it says that he's needed in the digital world, and that he'll never forget them, and then in the next scene he says thanks for their help, and then Ty is telling him to take him with him, because he still needs his help, and then Kari tries to stop him, and she says that he wants him to stay with him, and then he tells her that he can't, he gotta go away from mom and dad, then she says that he's right, he knows he has to leave and stuff, and then what happens after that is, he says that Agumon, he really does, and that Agumon can't digivolve without him, so it's his fight as well, and then what happens is, after that, Kari's telling him, please be careful, and then he lets go of her hand, and he floats up into the air, and then what happens is, after that, he's saying goodbye to Kari, and Kari's telling him to not forget about her, and then what happens is, after that, there's a small narration from Ty's character where he says that it was terrible as he had to watch Kari, like he said, it's terrible that I had to watch Kari as I floated away, but I couldn't take her with me. I knew it was way too dangerous. Besides, Mom would have been very disappointed, mad at me if he had. But he also says in his narration that what he didn't know is that Kari would soon find her own way to the digital world, and then it shows her Digivice as well. And then it goes to where Ty and Agumon are, and then they say they're back in. Ty tells Agumon that they're back in business, and then he's telling them what their next move's gotta be, and then Agumon is saying that they gotta find their friends, and then he says that they gotta make sure that him and the others get home safely, and then Ty's saying that not until they conquer all the evil Digimon, otherwise neither one of their worlds will ever be safe. So if you guys like this video on YouTube, just please give it the really best you guys can. And it's the last video for this arc, so I'll start the third arc soon. Keep it digital.